Hi, this is Luke for Production Expert, and this is Sonnox Voca. Voca is a 4-stage vocal toolbox for pro sounds with simple controls. Here I have a mix in progress with a vocal that is well sung and well recorded, but it's still rather jumpy, and it could really do with some extra character dialed in as well. And luckily with Voca, I can do that with ease.
Dodging all the time, are you still dizzy? Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy? Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy? Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy?
So straight away I've got something that is a lot more polished, that sits much better with a character of its own. Now the first of the 4 stages is auto inputs volume. So this is just like having a finger on the fader, and Voca shows when the auto inputs volume is turning the input up or down, as denoted by the purple ring around the outside of the control.
Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy?
Now this is different to doing it in the DAW or on the console, simply because it happens before the compression in Voca. I also get the optimize control too, and that just takes the level up or down before it hits the other stages further downstream, just to maintain decent gain structure. So both the compression and the saturation modules have this XY style of control. So for compression, stabilize is the amount of compression, so that's up and down. But if I move the puck left or right, then I get the squish parameter coming into play, which is the characteristic of that compression. So towards the right, it's a faster, more aggressive style.
Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy?
Move it this way.
Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy?
So more compression in a more laid-back style versus at the other end of the scale.
Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy?
Saturation works in a similar way, so up or down is the amount, whereas focus is the flavour, so we've got a brighter, more aggressive characteristic to the right.
Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy?
Or a darker flavour.
Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy?
So moving it into the middle is going to give you the best of all worlds, although I'm liking it over here. And what that is allowing me to do is push up against the soften control. So I get a simple amount control here. Now the thing to note about soften is that although it acts a little bit like a de-esser, it actually detects the spectral content of the incoming signals, so it's not going to change the character of the sound with level. So that makes it a lot more useful if you're trying to place a vocal.
Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy?
Roll it in, about here.
Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy?
Like I say, I'm liking the saturation pushing up against it.
Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, are you still dizzy?
And between those 4 stages, I'm getting a much more interesting, characterful sound that is easier to place in the mix. I also get the recording mode, which is a low latency mode, which allows the talent to hear the effect as well with less delay. And it does trade off some resolution for speed. Let's hear how that sounds without and with.
Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, or you still dizzy? Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, or you still dizzy?
Sounds fine to me. And when I place my vocal back in the mix, I get something that goes from being jumpy and a little bit unremarkable in the sonic department to something that is easy to place, that has lots of extra lovely complexity in there too.
Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, or you still dizzy? Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, or you still dizzy? Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, or you still dizzy? Did you have to pay that fine? You was dodging all the time, or you still dizzy?
So that is Voca from Sonnox. Simple controls for a pro sound in one window. To find out more and to read our full article, head over to the Production Expert blog.